Hey, welcome to Wisdom Wednesday. It's May 24th, and we're looking at the 24th proverb. We're going to be looking at a few of the sayings of the wise and some further sayings of the wise. In chapter 23 and 24, we find 30 sayings of the wise, and then a subtitle that says Further Sayings of the Wise. And so this section of the Bible is a collection of Proverbs spoken by a number of individuals, not necessarily Solomon, but we can glean understanding, wisdom, and direction from them nonetheless as we attempt and strive to live lives full of wisdom before God and before man. And so let's jump into it. We're going to be looking at Proverbs 24, verse 3, which is saying number 21. It says, by wisdom a house is built, and through understanding it is established. Through knowledge its rooms are filled with rare and beautiful treasures. And in this verse here, we see that the author is speaking about a progression that the house is built by wisdom, but the building of the house is not the ending of that process. Building a house is a significant step. It puts structure to the things we know. It takes the things we know and it puts it into application into something that is now has the potential for use. A house has a potential for use. It can house you. It can put a roof over your head. It can put some security into your mind as you fall asleep at night. It can house some friends and families or others. It can be used for a number of things, a place to live, but it can also deteriorate. It can also be not used for its intended purposes. And we can see that houses in and of themselves are a visible tool, a visible thing that reflects on the wisdom or the that was used to be able to build it. But this proverb goes on, it says that through understanding, that house is therefore established. And the difference, the next level there, is that not only is there a physical structure, but now there's an establishment of the purpose of the house. I would really see this as like the functionality of the house is established. Maybe it is to raise a family. Maybe it is for the purpose of a rental income, if we're going to run with the house concept here. But the through understanding, the establishment of the house exists. You might be wise enough to build a house, but then not understanding enough on how to establish and make that house last or be maintained or be used to its function that it was purposed for. So there is a level here that the author speaks about, that we go from wisdom, which can build, to understanding, which is the applying the application, which brings it to a place of establishment for the use that it was necessary. And then he goes on to continue that through knowledge rooms are filled. And that's getting even more intimate into the physicality of the house. It's more intimate into the purpose, the mission, the vision of the house, and what the destiny of that place is. And this is a lot like our own lives. We build this structure, this framework of our lives, where we have wisdom to understand, hey, okay, I understand a bit of the structure. And then we gain some understanding, which establishes the overall purpose. Maybe that's momentum in our lives as we strive, as we work towards something and we begin to see that ball rolling. And then through what we see now is through knowledge. So we have wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. Through knowledge, now each of the spaces of that house, each of the aspects of our lives are actually amplified because of the knowledge that we gain as we continue on in this process. And so this is a really neat implication that we read in Proverbs 24, verse 4, and verse 3 and 4, where there's this building that is progressive. Obtaining knowledge or building a house is not the end goal. In fact, establishing that house, established 2023, is also not necessarily the end goal. Filling it for the purpose that it was used for comes with knowledge. It comes with perseverance. It comes with the momentum that's gathered and gained and walked through and walked out as we grow in our wisdom, our knowledge, and our understanding. In fact, verse 4 says that the rooms are filled with rare and beautiful treasures. And if we do an understanding of a deep dive study into what the Hebraic or Jewish understanding of beauty and treasures through biblical lenses really looks like, yes, there is definitely the element of physical things that are beautiful and treasurable. But in reality, what we see more often than not throughout Scripture is that it is close relationships and communications, connections, human interaction, and interpersonal relationships that are highly sought after and favored. And what I see in this verse is that those who are wise will begin to build out the mission and vision of their life. Those who gain understanding will be able to establish that mission and vision, not just be able to maybe loosely state it, but will actually be able to state it with certainty and with purpose. Those with knowledge will know how to apply that mission and vision to their life. And the result will be is that they will see that the areas of their life will be filled with connection, with relationship, with family, with friends, and with purposes that are beautiful and rare treasures today and in every generation. And so I want to encourage you today that as you are applying wisdom to your life, recognize that wisdom is a step, that understanding is a step, and that knowledge is a step on our way to building these incredible interpersonal relationships and establishing the purposes and the mission and vision of our life. As we move on further into Proverbs 24, it speaks on a couple other things as well. It comes back to the house analogy again in verse 27. It says, put your outdoor work in order and get your fields ready. After that, build your house. And this is saying, hey, just like understand the lens, the scope, the space in which you are building your house, building your life, building your mission and your vision. Understand what the ground looks like. Understand what the seasons that you live in look like. Understand what the experiences and the surroundings are. Maybe we got to remove some grounds. Maybe we got to cut down some trees. Maybe we got to move position. Maybe we got to reorientate the house in a different way as we assess the things that are around. Bring some of these things into order. And as you build your house, it will be much more foundational, much simpler to build when we deal with these things up front. Proverbs 24 ends with this challenge. It says, a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come on you like a thief, and scarcity like an armed man. And what we see here is that the author of Proverbs, in going through this kind of this reality of being able to firmly root, build, establish, and fill the purposes and missions of our life, that in the same scope that it takes to progress and really build upon these things, in the same way we can actually deteriorate them through laziness, through becoming complacent, by allowing the pressures of this world to really rail against the purposes that God has placed in our heart. And it seems kind of non-important at first, but it can cause a huge issue as we allow the fullness of those sails to be deflated. And not that we want to walk around with in self-inflated sails. We want to be rested upon who God is and how He's created us to be. But I want to challenge you with that in areas of complacency, would you find purpose in life again? Would you go back to Jesus and say, God, I've been a little bit complacent in these areas. Would you help me clear the fields and deal with that so that I can get back to building my house, that I might get back to firmly establishing it and filling it with the connections and the community that you have placed me in. And so that's my prayer for you today, friends. Go read Proverbs 24, and we'll see you later. God bless.